Most people assume that growing food requires land. Real land. A backyard. A garden bed. Space they simply don't have. And because of that belief, they never even try. But here's what years of growing food in small spaces teaches you very quickly. Containers don't limit you, they free you. When you grow in containers, you're not fighting bad soil, weeds, pests, or unpredictable ground conditions. You control everything. The soil, the drainage, the nutrients, even how big the plant gets. That level of control is why some crops actually perform better in containers than they ever would in the ground. In this video, I'm breaking down 10 container crops you can plant today. These aren't experimental plants or complicated projects. These are crops that produce real food, consistently, in pots, buckets, and grow bags. Stay with me, because by the time we reach the end of this list, you'll realize how much food you've been missing out on. Simply because nobody explained this properly. Before we begin, if you care about growing food in small spaces without wasting money, hit that subscribe button to subscribe to Daily Plant Life. This channel is built for people who want practical results, not gardening theory. Alright, let's get into it. Crop number 1, bush beans. Bush beans are one of the most underrated container crops, and that's a shame, because they deliver fast results with very little effort. Unlike pole beans, bush beans don't need tall supports or complex trellising. They grow compact, they stay manageable, and they focus their energy on producing beans rather than climbing. That makes them ideal for containers on patios, balconies, or small yards. Once planted, bush beans germinate quickly. Within weeks, you'll see flowers forming, and shortly after that, you'll be harvesting beans regularly. And here's the key. The more you harvest, the more the plant produces. Ignore them, and production slows. Pay attention, and they reward you. Another hidden benefit of beans is that they naturally improve soil health. They fix nitrogen, which helps the plant itself and benefits anything you grow afterward in that same container. That's a big win for long-term container gardening. For beginners, bush beans are confidence builders. They grow fast, tolerate minor mistakes, and make you feel like you know exactly what you're doing, even if you're just getting started. Crop number 2, radishes. If you want proof that container gardening actually works, radishes will give it to you faster than almost any other crop. Radishes don't ask for much. They don't need deep soil. They don't need fancy fertilizer. What they need is space and consistency. Plant them too close together, and you'll get disappointment. Give them room, and they'll reward you with crisp, satisfying roots in less than a month. That speed matters. Gardening momentum matters. When you can plant something today and harvest it within weeks, it changes how you feel about growing food. It stops being a someday idea and becomes a real habit. And here's something most people overlook. Radishes are a 2-for-1 crop. The roots are great, but the greens are completely edible and packed with nutrients. Sauté them, stir-fry them, or add them to soups. Even when the roots aren't perfect, the harvest still pays off. Radishes are simple, honest, and fast. Everything a good container crop should be. Crop number 3, garlic. Garlic is one of those crops that feels almost magical when you grow it yourself. You start with a single clove, something small and unimpressive, and over time, it turns into a full bulb with layers of flavor. And yes, garlic grows extremely well in containers when given enough depth and patience. Plant individual cloves pointy side up in deep containers. Once they're in the soil, garlic doesn't demand constant attention. It grows slowly, steadily, quietly. That makes it perfect for people who don't want to babysit plants every day. You don't even have to wait for full bulbs to enjoy garlic. The green tops, known as garlic greens or garlic shoots, can be harvested early and used like mild scallions. That means you get food long before the final harvest. Container-grown garlic also tends to be cleaner, healthier, and easier to manage than ground-grown garlic. Fewer pests, better soil control, less mess. It's slow food done right. Crop number 4, cucumbers, compact varieties. Most people assume cucumbers need large gardens and long rows. That's simply not true. Compact or bush cucumber varieties grow beautifully in containers. With the right pot and a simple trellis or support, cucumbers can climb upward instead of spreading out, making them perfect for small spaces. Cucumbers love consistent watering and sunlight. Give them that, and they respond aggressively. Flowers turn into fruit fast, and once production starts, it doesn't slow down easily. The key to container cucumbers is choosing the right variety and harvesting regularly. Young cucumbers taste better, encourage more production, and prevent the plant from becoming exhausted. There's something incredibly satisfying about harvesting crisp cucumbers from a container you can reach from your porch or balcony. Fresh, cool, and far better than anything shipped from far away. Crop number 5, peppers. Peppers in containers are a perfect match. Whether you're growing sweet bell peppers or spicy chili varieties, peppers actually prefer the warm, controlled environment that containers provide. The soil warms faster, drains better, and gives you far more control than ground planting. Peppers may start slowly, but once they settle in, they produce steadily for months. And the more peppers you harvest, the more flowers the plant produces. That cycle keeps going as long as conditions are right. Container peppers also allow you to move the plant if needed. More sun, less wind, better protection. That flexibility can mean the difference between a weak plant and a highly productive one. Once you grow your own peppers, you'll notice the difference immediately. Stronger flavor, better texture, and the satisfaction of knowing exactly where your food came from. Crop number 6, carrots, short and round varieties. Carrots teach one of the most important lessons in container gardening. The environment matters more than effort. Most people fail with carrots not because carrots are difficult, but because they're planted in heavy, compacted soil filled with rocks, clumps, and resistance. Carrots don't fight their environment, they respond to it. Give them obstacles, and they twist, split, or stop growing altogether. Containers solve that problem instantly. In a container, the soil is loose, light, and consistent from top to bottom. There are no stones blocking growth. No compacted layers stopping root development. That's why short and round carrot varieties perform so well in pots. They don't need extreme depth, just freedom. Carrots do require patience. They won't reward you quickly like radishes. At first, it can feel like nothing is happening. Thin green tops appear above the soil, and for weeks, progress seems invisible. But underground, the root is forming, slowly building sweetness and structure. And when you finally pull a carrot from a container and see a clean, smooth, perfectly shaped root, it feels earned. That moment reinforces something powerful. Good food grows quietly. Crop number 7, beets. Beets are one of the most efficient container crops you can grow, especially if you value maximum return from limited space. They don't demand deep soil. They tolerate close spacing. And they give you 2 completely different harvests from the same plant. That alone makes them worth growing. Early on, beet greens can be harvested in small amounts without harming the plant. These greens are tender, slightly earthy, and packed with nutrients. While you're harvesting the leaves, the root below continues developing, storing energy and growing stronger. Beets also have a calm personality. They don't react dramatically to temperature swings. They don't collapse under small mistakes. They simply grow steadily and reliably. Container-grown beets are often sweeter than store-bought ones because they experience less stress. And stress is what creates bitterness. Controlled conditions create better flavor. Beets remind you that productivity doesn't have to be loud to be powerful. Crop number 8, kale, compact varieties. Kale is not about speed. Kale is about endurance. In containers, compact kale varieties grow into dense, productive plants that continue producing leaves long after many other crops have finished. But only if you harvest correctly. The mistake most people make is harvesting kale randomly. That weakens the plant. The correct approach is intentional harvesting, always removing the lowest, oldest leaves first while protecting the growing tip at the top. When you follow that rule, kale becomes one of the most reliable container crops available. A single plant can produce leaves for months without slowing down. Kale grown in containers is also dramatically different from store-bought kale. It's more tender, less bitter, and noticeably fresher. That difference comes from timing. You harvest at the exact moment the leaf is perfect. Kale teaches long-term thinking. You don't rush it. You work with it. Crop number 9. Herbs, basil, parsley, cilantro, thyme. Herbs quietly change everything. They don't demand attention. They don't take up much space. And yet, they deliver value every single day. In many ways, herbs are the most practical container crops you can grow. A single pot of basil can replace dozens of store-bought bundles over a season. Parsley grows steadily and recovers quickly after harvesting. Cilantro grows fast and can be replanted in cycles. Thyme thrives even when neglected. Herbs integrate into daily life naturally. You don't plan meals around them. They enhance meals without effort. A pinch here, a handful there. Container-grown herbs also encourage mindfulness. You step outside, clip what you need, and reconnect briefly with your food. That moment matters more than people realize. Herbs remind you that small things, done consistently, add up to something meaningful. Crop number 10, strawberries. Strawberries are not just a crop, they're an experience. They grow beautifully in containers, hanging baskets, and shallow pots. And because the fruit is elevated, it stays cleaner, healthier, and easier to protect from pests. Strawberries ask for patience early on. You plant them, care for them, and wait. Flowers appear, then green fruit. Then, slowly, color. That waiting builds anticipation. And when you finally pick a fully ripe strawberry, warm from the sun, perfectly red, and fragrant, it changes how you think about fruit. Store-bought strawberries suddenly feel hollow by comparison. Growing strawberries in containers feels personal. You watched them grow. You protected them. You chose the moment of harvest. Strawberries teach joy and remind you why growing food matters. By now, you should see something clearly. Growing food isn't about having the perfect setup. It's not about owning land. It's not about being an expert. It's about starting where you are, with what you have. Containers remove excuses. They remove barriers. They prove that food can grow anywhere, on a balcony, on a porch, by a window, or in a small corner of your yard. One pot at a time, one plant at a time. And something interesting happens when you grow even a small portion of your own food. You become more patient, more intentional, more aware of how much effort goes into what you eat every day. Food stops feeling automatic and starts feeling meaningful. You don't need to grow everything. You don't need to grow perfectly. You just need to grow something. Start with one container. Learn from it. Then add another. Over time, those small decisions turn into real independence, not all at once, but steadily. If this video helped you see growing food differently, do me a favor and subscribe to this channel. This channel exists to help you grow more food with less space, less money, and less stress. We post practical, real-world growing content every week, and the upcoming videos are packed with ideas you won't want to miss. Also, hit the like button if this video gave you value. It tells the algorithm this content matters and helps more people discover simple, affordable ways to grow their own food. Drop a comment below and tell me which crop you're starting with. One container, one plant, one step forward. I read every comment, and I love seeing what you're growing. Thanks for spending your time here with me today. I appreciate you more than you know. And remember, you don't need land to grow food. You just need to begin. I'll see you in the next video.